the Backstage Theater Company, the club on campus responsible for putting terrific performances on stage, is yet another production in the making. They've put together a cast and crew and have been rehearsing a stage performance of a fantastic movie, one I think you'll remember.
If you haven't seen the movie, there's about five kids who get Saturday detention together, which is where you sit in the library for 17 hours and you're forced to sort of deal with each other.
Yeah.
And so there's five children. There's Brian, who's the brain. He's sort of a nerd. And then there's Claire, sort of a princessy, sort of Vogue model cover girl. And there's Allison, who's pretty much just the crazy sociopath kid you didn't talk to in high school. And then there's me, John Bender, who's pretty much just the criminal scumbag. And Andrew, who is the captain of the sports team. We tend to argue a lot during. There's a lot of arguing that goes on between the two of us. I hate you too.
That's right, they've been putting on the Breakfast Club. As you can see, they've been working pretty hard at it.
What's your favorite part about playing Allison?
Just, I don't know, getting into how weird she is and just understanding that she's actually a person underneath all this sociopathic, weird, like, I don't want to talk to this girl. Like, once you actually dig into the character, she actually has a personality and a history, so it's interesting getting into that.
Well, that's kind of like the whole point of the movie.
Yeah, it really is.
So, like, what's your favorite part about doing this movie as a play?
It would really have to be the character development and just peeling back the layers on every person, because well, that's the point of the show, really. Everybody's their stereotype, but then once you just look a little bit deeper, everybody's pretty much the same person under it, and they're just trying to figure it out, so.
What's your favorite part about being in the Breakfast Club?
Just getting to work with this amazing cast and getting to be Brian in one of, like, the greatest movies ever.
Brian's actually my favorite character. So, like, is he the character you relate to most? Or?
Yeah, I feel like I can relate to Brian the most. He's like the normal one out of everybody.
Well, normal, if anyone can really be normal in the Breakfast Club. Have you ever actually had Saturday detention?
No, I've never had Saturday detention, but I have normal detention.
If you had Saturday detention where you had to be there in the morning and stay there longer, what do you think it would be like? Would it be like the movie?
Most likely. I would probably just try and escape and go on an adventure. Because then I'd have an interesting story to tell after.
Yeah, and maybe you'd get a movie deal.
Yeah.
So how excited are you to be in the Breakfast Club?
I am absolutely thrilled. This is one of my favorite movies. I've liked it since about when I was the time in high school, and I thought, finally, someone made a movie about us. And so I'm very excited. John Bender has always been my favorite character. I was always a lot like Bender when I was in high school. I had the denim jacket, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I wasn't. But yeah, I'm very excited. There's an amazing cast, an amazing director. Everyone's really doing well.
Great. You actually had Saturday detention.
Yes, I have. Right? Yes, I have.
So you're almost drawing off of experience.
I am,
with this movie.
as a matter of fact.
I'm not going to ask you personal details, but was it as interesting as the movie? When you
John gets Saturday detention because he pulled a fire alarm. I got detention because I set my sleeve on fire in chemistry class.
So it's almost more interesting.
That is in the eye of the beholder.
You're playing the jock in the Breakfast Club, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you feel that's the character you relate to most?
I would say so, because I've been an athlete my entire life, and more so in high school I ran 4 years of track and soccer. So
yeah, you can probably relate to the character. What do you do? A lot more. Do you channel you're an athlete to get into character? Like, what do you do to get into character?
Yeah, I just basically take a. I would say I take similar situations that relate to the scene and incorporate them, and to really derive the character out of that.
Do you feel like the principal's your favorite character, or?
I feel like I'd have to say Bender is my favorite character, because I just like how he's like this sort of rebel that, like, he's sort of misunderstood but portrays this, big tough guy to, like, have everyone think he's that big tough guy.
How do you get into character? Like, being the principal, do you, like, get really angry about stuff? Or?
A stern authority figure is like, it's the type of role that I feel most comfortable in, so I try to get in that, adult, stern, tough guy act, and since that's the principal, I have, like, it's a really easy time for me.
Yeah. Have you ever actually had a Saturday detention?
No, never.
If you did, do you think it would be a lot like the movie, or do you feel like it would be a lot less interesting?
Probably a lot less interesting.
Okay. So you're playing Claire, so
yes.
Would you say you relate to Claire the most?
I probably would say I don't relate to Claire the most. I don't know which of the characters I would relate to the most, but I don't know, she's very spoiled and stuck up, and I don't feel that I relate to her in those ways, but it's definitely a really fun character to play because it's so different from who I am.
What do you do to get into character? Because you're so different from her.
I usually read over the script tons and tons of times, just reading the lines, trying to think of different ways to portray the character, and then I put myself in similar situations that maybe I would have gone through in the past, or just think about how she would react to the situation opposed to how would I react to the situation.
As hard as they're working to provide a fantastic performance as always, they still seem to find time for fun. C. Lorson, Ram News Network.